Hello everyone. In this video, we'll cover the current affairs from January 1 to January 10. So let's begin. Apple becomes world's first company to hit $3 trillion market capitalization. The stock market value of Apple Inc. hit $3 trillion and became the world's first company to do so. The market cap of Apple hit $182.86 per share, which made it the world's first company to touch the $3 trillion mark, students. So Apple has touched the $3 trillion mark. So although it did that very briefly during the trading, and after that, the share price again dipped down to take the market capitalization to below $3 trillion. However, students, this event has more of symbolic value and it sort of conveys the kind of trust that people place in Apple and its future and the strength of Apple. If you see, the iPhone maker passed $2 trillion in 2020 and $1 trillion in 2018, students, right? So in 2018, Apple passed $1 trillion, and in under 4 years, it has hit $3 trillion. That means Apple was able to triple its market capitalization in under 4 years, students. The world's most valuable company reached the milestone as investors bet that consumers will continue to shell out top dollar for iPhones, MacBooks, and services, such as Apple TV and Apple Music, which means that Apple is doing well across all the product line, students. Some takeaways: Apple Inc. CEO Tim Cook, founded in 1976, headquartered in California, US, and founded by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne. Next, students, Dharmendra Pradhan launches reading campaign Padhe Bharat. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has launched a 100-day reading campaign, Padhe Bharat. So, students, this is in alignment with the National Education Policy, NEP 2020, which lays emphasis on the promotion of joyful reading culture for children by ensuring the availability of age-appropriate reading books for children in their language, right? So, if you see, students, this is focused on children studying in Bal Vatika, that is in the preparatory classes, to grade 8. So these are the formative years of, of children development. And what we can see is that the government wants to catch them young. And because research suggests that, if you were to catch the children young, and if you were to help them inculcate reading habit during their early years, formative years, then it leads to better brain development and also fosters greater creativity. The reading campaign aims to have the participation of all the stakeholders at the national and state level, including children, teacher, parents, community, educational administrators. So obviously, if there's any program which is aimed at children, it has to be a multi-stakeholder approach. And the teacher, parents, community, they'll have to come together to make this work. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan launches NEET 3.0. So NEET 3.0, students, is National Educational Alliance for Technology. And it was recently launched by Dharmendra Pradhanji. And this aims to provide the best developed EdTech solutions and courses to students on a single platform. So this is very much like your, EdTech platforms like Coursera and edX and Udemy, which offer e-resources to students. But this is particularly targeted at economically disadvantaged students. Children who belong to economically disadvantaged sections of society and don't have access to e-resources because of the digital gap. So this program is aimed at covering the digital divide, students. And this is to enhance learning outcomes, developing employable skills, as well as overcoming learning loss. The collaboration of global edtech companies and Indian startups by way of NEET will help to build on the digital education bedrock of India. And in this, students, this is like a public-private initiative wherein 58 global and Indian edtech startup companies would come together to provide this solution. Next, students, China launches 5-year plan to become a hub of world robotics innovation. So China has announced this 5-year roadmap to achieve its goal of becoming a global robotics innovation hub by year 2025. And according to China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, their income from this particular sector is expected to grow by around 20% from 2021 to 2025. And they see a lot of scope in this, in this sector. And as per the 2021 World Robot Report, South Korea, Singapore, and Japan were the top 3 most automated countries in Asia Pacific. We know, if we talk about India, that India is relatively, not relatively, in fact, as in much slower to embrace automation. But this is one area where India should certainly intensify efforts, the emerging technologies like robotics and artificial intelligence and cloud computing. So India must intensify the efforts in these sectors. Next, students, Tech Mahindra to acquire 100% stake in LS India Green Investments. Tech Mahindra has approved a proposal for the acquisition of a 100% stake in LS India for a total consideration of up to USD 125 million. And this would bolster Tech Mahindra's capabilities in digital experience solutions, L&D, marketing, instructional design, engineering, cloud, and automations, all the emerging, technologies, basically. The takeaways are the Tech Mahindra CEO is CP Gurnani. Please keep the name in mind. It is headquartered in Pune and it's founded by Anand Mahindra in 1986. Next, students, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has launched India's semiconductor mission, students. Now, India's semiconductor mission has been launched to attract large investments for setting up semiconductor wafer fabrication facilities in India, students. This is in furtherance of the Atmanirbhar Bharat and Digital India mission and, the Make in India campaign. So semiconductor is like foundational to the electronics industry, students, and this is going to actually drive the digital revolution in India. Also, a point to be noted here is this, that semiconductor industry is a highly labor intensive industry. So this would give a boost to our Make in India campaign as well. So the companies that are interested are invited by the Center for Development of the Semiconductors and Display Manufacturing Ecosystem in India. And India's semiconductor mission is a specialized and independent business division within the Digital India Corporation, students. Next, Vinod Khannan has been named as the next CEO of Vistara Airline. So we all know, students, Vistara Airline is a joint venture between Tata Sons Private Limited and Singapore Airlines, with Tata Sons 51% stake and 49% that of Singapore Airlines. So Vinod Khannan has taken over as CEO of Vistara Airlines. He's replaced Leslie Trim, students. Keep the name in mind. Vinod Khannan, very important. And another change has taken place, that Deepak Rajawat has been elevated to take up the role of Vistara's Chief Commercial Officer. We all know, students, Vistara was recently awarded as the best airline of India and South Asia. Now, if we talk about Khannan, he spent over 2 decades working with Singapore Airlines and has held several senior positions in the airline's head office in Singapore as well as overseas. He holds a master's degree in business administration from National University of Singapore and University of California, Los Angeles. Next, students, Exercise Milan 2022, India to host 46 national mega naval war games. So this is an annual, a regular naval exercise that India conducts, and it invites all the friendly navies, friendly countries to participate in this exercise. So this year, India has invited a total of 46 friendly foreign countries who would participate in the multinational naval exercise. And this would be used to consolidate upon lessons learned during the harbor interactions to build upon the experience of operating together at sea. And the countries that have been invited are Russia, US, UK, Australia, Israel, Iran, France, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Brazil, UAE, among others. A notable absentee here is China. And of course, China is not a friendly country, cannot be counted as a friendly country, of India, a friend country of India. As per an official, India has increased its naval engagements with friendly nations at bilateral, trilateral, and multilateral levels since 2018. So it sort of coincides with the years that China has been, becoming aggressive, especially in terms of its maritime initiatives. So India has also increased its naval engagements. Next, students, Ayush Minister lays foundation stone of International Yoga Academy. So Union Ayush Minister Sarbanand Sonowal has laid the foundation stone of Heartfulness International Yoga Academy in Hyderabad, Telangana. And he has launched 75 crore Surya Namaskar initiative as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So students, government has been, we all know, especially the present government, yoga has been one of the thrust areas, and it wants to promote yoga, not just as a form of fitness, but also as a way of life. And this is sort of a benchmark in India's, or a milestone in India's yoga training initiative. The Academy tries to reach all levels of society through training programs, and these will be overseen by an international team. Next, students, Himachal Pradesh became first LPG-enabled and smoke-free state of the country. And this has been made possible through the Ujjwala scheme. Students, we all know that Ujjwala scheme was targeted towards the, poor sections of the country. And it was about providing free LPG connections and subsidized LPG cylinders to them. So this Ujjwala Yojana was started by the central government with a view to free the women of the country from indoor pollution, students, which leads to a lot of health risks for them. So Himachal Pradesh has become the first LPG enabled and smoke-free state of the country. Next, students, Sea Dragon 2020 exercise. India joins the Sea Dragon exercise. So India and its partners in the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or Quad, along with Canada and South Korea, are participating in the multinational exercise Sea Dragon at Guam in the Western Pacific. So we all know that India is part of this much spoken about Quad group, students, Quadrilateral, India, US, Japan, and Australia, the four, some of the largest democracies of the world, and countries with similar ideologies. So they are conducting this Sea Dragon exercise, and they've also invited Canada and South Korea, which are non-Quad members, to participate. And this exercise is primarily focused on anti-submarine warfare training, will involve more than 270 hours of in-flight training and activity. So again, this is yet another initiative to signal to China, about the growing strength of this group. And this is a measure to sort of curtail the growing hegemony and clout of China in this region, the geopolitical status of China. So each event will be graded, and the country scoring the highest points will receive the Dragon Belt Award. Next, students, Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Retail invest $200 million in Dunzo to acquire 25% stake. So Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Retail has invested $200 million in Bangalore-based quick commerce player Dunzo for a 25.8% stake on a fully diluted basis. And this would help Reliance to get a foothold in the country's growing quick delivery market. And Dunzo has raised a total of $240 million in this latest round, led by Reliance Industry Limited arm. Next, students, Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2022 was observed on 9th January. So this is also known as the Non-Resident Indian Day, and it is celebrated every year on 9th January. And the aim of this event is to strengthen the engagement of the overseas Indian community with the government of India and reconnect them with their roots. On the occasion of 22 Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, Union Minister State for External Affairs, V. Muralidharan, will speak at a virtual youth conference about the role of the Indian diaspora in innovation and new technology. And why is it known as the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, or why was it selected for observing the non-resident Indian Day? Was that on 9 January 1915, Mahatma Gandhi came to India from South Africa and became the greatest Pravasi who led India's freedom struggle and made India free from British or colonial. colonial rule. So as a NRI or Pravasi Bharatiya, he presented a symbol of change and development that could bring into India. That means the kind of role that diaspora or the non-resident Indians, the kind of contribution that they can make towards the growth of India. So it sort of underlines that fact.